go ahead and get started. First question for me. Coco, congratulations. First round is never easy, but you pulled through in 2 straight sets today. Just talk through the match and your performance today.
Yeah, obviously Taylor got off to a great start, and I think I was maybe a little too passive in the beginning, just a little bit nervous going in. But once I, held, I think at like 3-1 or something, I felt pretty confident from there.
Questions, please. If you could raise your hand, we'd like to start. Yes, right here.
What is it like playing such a good friend?
Yeah, it's definitely, well, it's not that different. I mean, it's more so like when you win, I think you're like, dang, but obviously we're both competitors, so we go out there and are able to put personal stuff aside.
Hi, Coco. Well done today. After that first set, I noticed you were, I think Taylor went for to the toilet or something in between, and
Yeah.
you were on the court and you were serving. I know a lot of players have spent like any time they can sat down with like an ice towel around them. Why did you choose to kind of keep loose and maybe practice your serve specifically at that point?
I just felt like, I don't know, I usually do that when the person uses the bathroom. So yeah, I just kept the routine, and at that point, I didn't think me hitting a couple serves would affect me physically, but I don't do it every time. But I don't know. I doubled twice in one game, so I was like, let me get some more reps.
Hey Coco, congrats.
Hi, thanks.
Before the tournament, Amelie Mauresmo said that there'd be no more plans to put additional cameras in private player areas here. I'm curious if back in Australia, after obviously what happened, did you get any like response from the tournament about that situation and any even apology?
I mean, I didn't get anything from my email that I know. I know that WTA sent like something, but obviously they're different from the Grand Slams. Just of them wanting to reiterate and that they're gonna talk to the slams about different private like areas and things like that. I feel like I started a conversation because then I saw Carlos talking about it and things like that. But I feel like it's been an quiet issue among players in tournaments for a while. And then I think when that happened, it made it a bit more public. But honestly, I don't know what they're showing here, but I feel like French Open does a really good job with the cameras. Me personally, I haven't had any experiences where they broadcasted something that emotional moment or thing like that. Like I pray before my matches, and we usually do it in the gym, and they've never broadcasted that, or I'm sure I've been crying in that gym before and they've never broadcasted that. So I haven't broken a racket here, so maybe if I do that, they'll show it. But no, I think Roland-Garros, from my personal experience, has done a decent job with that, and I know sometimes they have their own physical like person recording, and you have the option to opt out of that, or you can tell her personally like, hey, I don't want to be filmed right now, and they say no problem. So yeah.
Hey Coco, I'm working on a story about hair, and I was wondering if you would mind maybe talking a little bit about how important it is to you, or if it is important to you, to have your hair in a certain style, like both because I think athletes often say like, look good, feel good, perform good, but also for the convenience of it, like I think is something people don't talk about a lot. And then I was also wondering if you do your hair on the road, because it can be hard to find people, and I'm sure it's very hard to find people in different countries also.
Yeah, honestly, having black hair and thick hair like me is not the easiest, but it's definitely something that I do try to plan around and try to, not every tournament, but the slams, try to match the vibe to my outfit. Like the what did I do in Australia? Red, whatever hair I did was very intentional. And yeah, I got my hair done here in Paris. Luckily, Paris is a very diverse city, so it's not really hard to find someone, but it is a difficult thing on the road. Some cities, you're just not gonna probably find someone who can do it. So you kind of, I don't know, I plan my styles around like when I know the next stop is gonna be, and it's things like people don't, like my mom, that people don't realize, like the night before we're up on my only day off, like taking out my braids up to 1 a.m., taking out my braids, and then having to go the next day and sit in the chair for 8 hours to get your braids done again. But I think it looks good, so I keep doing it. And I've said this before, I pride myself in just showcasing different black hair on tour, just so that almost every girl can feel represented. So yeah, the Williams sisters did that for me, so I try to do that for someone else. No, I actually thought about getting that. I'll probably do that for US Open. But no, this is like I have micro, it's like the Zoe Kravitz braids. I have micros up front and then like a sew-in in the back. Mm-hmm.
Hi, Coco. Congratulations. I'm trying to understand the movement of sliding. I wondered if you could speak as an American where hardcourt is the traditional surface, what it was like for you, like learning to slide when you grew up, adding the caveat that you won the Orange Bowl under 12 as well on clay.
Yeah. So I've been growing up going to Europe training at Patrick Maratsu's academy since I was 10. So that was when I was 10 was my first experience on red clay. And I think because of those experiences going every year and them teaching me how to slide, it just felt very natural. So I definitely think I had a growing up upbringing different to most American players. And then, yeah, at Orange Bowl, it was green clay. And at that point, I was going to Patrick's a lot, so I was used to playing on red clay. Honestly, green clay was not something I did well on often, but I think for me it was just growing up, and it never felt like a thing like most Americans. I feel like it's just natural.
Okay, well done. Also, I guess a bit with your background and where you grew up and stuff, you seem to thrive in hot conditions. Just wondering, if it is as it seems and you do kind of enjoy playing in the heat, and also the extent to which you're kind of like, yeah, bring it on, keep it this hot, because other players seem to be really struggling and you seem kind of fine with it.
Yeah, honestly, it's funny. Yeah, when I saw it was going to be hot, I definitely think it's something that I do well in and can thrive in a bit because of growing up in Florida. And I know some people try to practice early, but I try to sometimes practice in the prime of the day, even if it's shorter, just to get used, because you never know. I think that maybe the issue why a lot of players are struggling, because honestly, Miami Open, it's pretty hot, but I think some people are struggling just because we spent the whole European swing not really playing in hot conditions, and then all of a sudden it's like ultra hot. So I feel like most people's bodies just are in a shock wave right now, because it gets pretty hot at US Open too, and I feel like you don't see it as much. So I think that's part of the reason. And yeah, also, I don't know, Europe, y'all don't like AC. So I feel like I'm constantly trying to, like, even at restaurants, everywhere, I'm like sweating. I'm taking like 4 showers a day. Like, I took a shower before this, I'm gonna have to take another one after. So I feel like the problem is we can't escape the heat here. And even like the coolers on court, the drinks don't get cold. So I think I'm gonna have to request more ice for the next match.
Hey, Coco, just to follow up on Tamani's question about the cameras. I was at a non-tennis event a couple weeks ago, and they have in their backstage area, they have like the carpet changes color if you're in an area that has cameras in it or doesn't have cameras. There's like an area where the competitors know that they're not on camera. And do you think something to be clear about that, or clear communications, would help in tennis to sort of make those sorts of moments happen? So there's better communication, understanding, clarity, whatever it may be.
Yeah, I mean, that would be pretty cool. I think the issue was specific to Australia is like almost all the private areas outside the locker room are recorded, so you don't really have anywhere to go. And and some of the cameras do look like security cameras. They don't necessarily look like broadcast cameras. Here at Roland-Garros, I noticed in the gym they have like a sign that says like video on here. But I was told at Australian Open that they have control on what they broadcast and don't broadcast, I thought, and then turns out they didn't. So I don't know what happened with that, but I definitely think like having a sign, or even the cameras having like a little light when it's like red, or a red light or something, that when you're potentially being broadcast, it could be something different. Because, you know, as authentic as I try to be, not every moment you want put out to the world. But I'm glad it started a conversation. But I don't know. I thought some people sent me messages thinking I was like upset that everyone saw me break a racket. But I'm like, guys, do it like every two days, so I'm okay.
Coco, just on the match, early on in the match, obviously once Taylor gets that lead, it's a very easy point where people might think defending champion, you fall behind, the pressure, the panic, all this sort of stuff. So I'm curious, those first 4 games, what was going on in your mind to kind of allow yourself to settle? And the second question is just looking ahead and playing Mayar, how well you know her and what you anticipate in that match.
Yeah, I mean, I had thoughts of like, oh, what if I lose and stuff? But honestly, I kind of remember that tennis is 2 out of 3 sets, and I think Rome taught me a lot about my ability to do well in those, you know, after losing the first set and stuff. But I don't know, I felt like Taylor came out playing like really great tennis, and I just felt like if she continues to play like this and she wins a match like this, and she deserves to win, and I can walk away and be like, I just wasn't good enough today. So I didn't allow myself mentally, I think, today to get to that point where I feel like in the past I would. And then as far as my next round, I feel like I played her in Cincinnati 3 years ago, something like that. so it's been a while, but I know she's a fighter. I feel like she plays a lot of long matches, so we might have a long one. I don't know, but I know I honestly haven't. Yeah, we haven't played each other in so long, so I have to rewatch and to know more about like her game and stuff. But I've seen her play quite a few times.
Hi, Coco. Todd Pechter from Florida Tennis Magazine, also from Delray. And I got to tell you, just sitting in the stands, it was tough.
Yeah.
but congratulations. You had mentioned also in the after-match interview on court that this is the first time you played Taylor.
Yeah.
Do you practice with her at all? I know you're both from the Florida area. Do you hit with her at all?
We practiced, I think like 2 years ago in Madrid a couple times because we were playing doubles together. But honestly, I think she lives more in Atlanta now. So when we're off, I don't get really good to practice with her. And also I think I feel like being a lefty on tour, it's not often that I need to hit with a lefty, but, yeah, we just never really haven't really played each other, which is kind of crazy. I did play her in ITF, I think, in Charlottesville or something. That was like our first pro match, but this was our first match on tour playing each other.